probably obviously know Nick Merckx, and I wanted to show his streaming setup because it's been something I've been wanting to work on myself, and just kind of talk about with gaming and content creation and how big it's gotten over the years. This is Nick Merckx' massive streaming room in his house. This is a little while ago, and I don't think I've ever actually filmed a reaction to this video before, but this is what it's like for a top content creator in the world to build out a house or build out a streaming room. Ninja has one that's somewhat similar, but this is from Nick Merckx, and I wanted to show you guys the finished product and actually kind of go over this. This took him over 9 or 8 months of construction to build, and this is the finished product, and it's absolutely insane. Nick is one of the top content creators on Twitch. He has a massive YouTube channel, and he has probably just pretty much dominated the Call of Duty scene as far as content goes, let alone competitive in some ways. But he goes over his entire streaming room. He bought a house. I believe it's somewhere in LA. I'm not entirely sure where it is, but I don't know if they'll show it his house in the video, but this is just some of the details of his streaming setup in his streaming room. And it's always crazy to see this because I want to see if he shows his original setup when he first started out creating content. He's talking to a contractor right here, and they're kind of explaining what this room is. But this thing is nuts. So this is what, like, they made a 3D model of what it would look like. He'd have his office kind of sitting back here. He'd have his PCs sitting in the wall. He has a security panel so he could see all the cameras in the house. He has a couple additional PCs if he has friends or family over and they want to use the PCs as well. I think this is actually a waterfall right here, and then you have the hallway that they're standing in. But this is a mock-up that he got hired done from this company before they actually came in and constructed it. The side here is all that soundproof paneling, and if you look in the video, they actually had some paneling at the top too. As a content creator, we have crazy microphones. This thing right here by itself is $400. The mic stand is pretty much about 100, 120. Then you have to add like the mixer and everything else. So even myself, even this headset on my head is crazy expensive. Now, I'm not anywhere near Nick Merckx' level. He's a multi-millionaire when it comes to content creation, and it's well earned. The guy has honestly done an incredible job of creating his channel, let alone his community. But you start seeing like how much expensive things become, and it's like, do you need all that? But this is what he started with. This was his first stream setup, and I think you can actually hear him talk about it. Or maybe this was the concept. I think he'll have a photo of it. Oh yeah, this is like when he was like mocking out like the layout originally, but I wanted to see if he had a photo of his original setup. I don't think he included it in here, or maybe it was closer to the beginning of the video. But it was literally, yeah, it was like a little table, and it was just like a monitor sitting on top of it. So it's really cool to see like the before and after. I wish I could have found that video before I started this, but this doesn't even show you justice. Like, these are his monitor setups right here. This is actually what it looks like after it's been built, and it's just insane. Like, I would love to do something like this, but I want to say he probably dumped in at least over like 100K easily to have this guys come in and actually build this. I would probably say even more. You can actually like listen to what they're saying. Like 900 FPS. He's got the big monitor at the top. I think that's so cool because, like, as a streamer, I have 3 monitors on my stream right now. I got one to the right, one in the middle, and one over here on the left. But like that top monitor, you can actually have all your stats there, and you can see everything. But he's going to talk about the PCs. So he's got one PC here, one PC below. He's got his logo stamped onto the glass. I don't know if I would really like where, the only thing I would say, like, I think he like encased them unless they just sit on the shelf. But like the one thing that's crazy to me is it's like if they're built into the wall, you have to kind of take them back out. And that would be kind of a pain in the ass to kind of fix. Oh, he's saying it controls all the cameras and all the lighting. He's got AverMedia cards. I bet he's sponsored, but look at the wall back there. Oh yeah, that's from NZXT, I think.
Is a little bit different than this one. This one has a terabyte M2 drive. It has cracking.
This is a little bit older, so some of these cards are probably not like most up to date. But he has the security panel here, so you can see all the houses stuff. Like, so when he's streaming, a lot of content creators have an issue or concern with security about getting swatted. Basically, someone will call in like a fake 911 call, and the cops will show up at your house, usually like armed. Because someone will say something violent and something wrong, so the police show up and kick your door down, and they just kind of clear out your house, which is kind of insane. They have some behind-the-scenes construction footage about how they wired all this stuff to the wall, did all the soundproofing, everything else that goes through the house too. But good God, like, I don't know. I don't even know what I would do with a streaming room like that, man. Like, like you'd walk in and it feels like you're into another planet. And you can see that he's mounting like a monitor arm. That's how they put up that big monitor. So it doesn't sit on the desk. He has the other ones that sit on the desk, but this is that big, like, I want to say it's like a 40 some inch or something wide. I don't know exactly how big it was at the time. It might even be bigger, but it hangs down from this frame. They have all the wiring that kind of goes through the top here. This is the sound paneling. They actually have some LED lights that hang on the top of that as well. So it kind of hangs down like a false ceiling. You can see it right here. Monitor arm, desk arms, some other monitor arms mounted to the wall. Then you got all that lighting in the back. But this is actually just really unique. Like, I haven't seen anything quite like this when it comes to streaming rooms. I don't even know who you call. You just like phone up like a regular contractor and be like, hey man, I need you to help me build like an audio studio in my house. Like, who does this? And that's not all. You've only seen part of it. So he's got a waterfall in here. And I was hoping they'd like zoom out and show like the whole thing. There you go. So this is the entryway. There's a door behind that. He's got a fridge over here. His PC setup is here. And then you kind of like tuck that corner to the right. But you have so much stuff in this room. And then the ceiling, I think there's some like kind of mesh vinish stuff up there with some lighting behind it. But I wish like they'd actually show the back part of the, I think he shows it maybe at the beginning when he walks in. Yeah. So this is like the before part when they're working on it. And this is like when you walk in, you kind of come in from this area here. So he's got his little fridge, got some energy drinks, got a beanbag, why not? And a couple TVs, couch, a green wall, and then just more LED lighting. The star wall, honestly, I think that's probably the coolest thing. If you guys have ever seen the musician called Zed, he did something really similar to his stream room where he has like a night sky in this entire audio studio. Let's see what he has to say.
So when are you setting up your streaming room?
This is, I think this is kind of like what he was originally starting with. Not entirely, but this is like what he had like later on. But I don't know if he'll show his original setup. I think he does. Yeah, I think he's talking about the desk. It's like a little foldable table. I used to see these at Walmart all the time, or like Target. He mentioned like Home Depot, but these things are like $50. They're just these little, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like plastic, like a hard plastic, and they just fold in the center. It's so funny to see him just sitting there gaming on it with all those monitors. Yeah, and then here we go. There we go. That's like one of his another original setup he had. So he's got his PC tucked underneath, monitors sitting on top of, I don't know, is that like an Xbox or something under there? Or is that just like a normal box? It almost looks like an Xbox, just to get the extra height above his other monitors. But it reminds me a lot of my own. I wonder if I could find it. Kross. I have my old video on YouTube somewhere. This is like my favorite part right here because he has the actual angle when you walk in. You got a couch, you got a little fireplace here. You have the TV, you got some speakers mounted on the wall, all the LED lighting. I think he's got like a concrete kind of style floor here. And just the way that it glows is really cool. Well, that actually is really cool. So he can have some friends over or whoever, like wife, girlfriend, they can come in and they can kind of like check out the stream. Like that's what he's mentioning. Like if they want to sit in, they can see what's happening on the stream on that TV through his OBS client, which is just how it's streamed to like YouTube or something. God, look at this. So back here is that waterfall that I was talking about earlier. It's just like a little glass screen, but like water, I think, comes down the top of it. And he has some shelves on either side. Well, I think he's got some controllers put up there. You can see like the store, like the extra computer stuff for other people to use. And then this is where his security monitor is, but this is his main setup right here in this corner. This is actually a pretty cool fridge. I think this was from Razer at the time. I think Respawn is their energy drink brand that they made. It's kind of like a competitor to the G Fuel. You hear about it mentioned all the time. But the front of the monitor, I believe, actually is like an LED screen. Oh yeah, and it actually opens up too, yeah. So like you can, it doesn't actually turn off when you open that. Gotta promote his sponsors, you know. And then yeah, there's that waterfall. I wish they had a better closer up zoom here. Logitech keyboard over here. Looks like graphics card from NVIDIA. Astro headsets. People, I think that those are Astros. I'm pretty sure those are like A40s or A50s. Scuff controllers, I'm pretty sure. NZXT, a couple people asked me about computer brands. I've worked with them before. I bought a couple PCs from them before. They work fine. I'm not sponsored. at all, but I've never had any issues. I'm still using one right now. And I bought it a couple years back. He's got webcams so he can have friends over and stream with him. Now you can see the waterfall. It actually it's moving in the background too. So he mentioned like all the Xboxes are connected on the other side. So everything's kind of like tucked away in some sense. Like you can probably still access it, but that way it's just not cluttering up the actual setup design, which I think is pretty unique. 2080 Ti's, 9700K processors in both setups. So this is a little bit older. You know, there's not any 3090s in here. He uses the headset mic. Yeah, I did. I was aware of that. I believe he has a sponsorship with that company, and I think that's why. Most streamers want to have like better audio and better quality. That's what you get with this. Like if I move this away, it's a lot harder to hear. But when you have a microphone that is just from like your headset, generally the audio quality is not going to be quite what you would want, at least for a production level. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't be successful. Obviously not the case here. Sometimes your equipment does not mean that you will be successful or not, so don't get that twisted. But most of the time when streamers of this level, it's either potentially just a preference thing. They're just like, yeah, it works, who gives a fuck? And Nick is probably kind of one of those guys. Like, he just doesn't care. Like, his attitude usually in some ways, it just seems like he's like, yeah, fuck it, it works, it's fine. But at the same time, he might actually be getting paid a dumb amount of money to be using that headset every day instead of using another mic competitor brand. Like when you're big enough as a creator, sometimes companies will pay you not to compete with another company. It's like, hey, wear our headset, use that microphone, don't promote another mic company. And they'll pay you flat out for it. It just depends on the company. But yeah, he's working with Astro. I went to Sennheiser, which is what this is. But I had Astros for years. They're a little expensive, but when you're talking console equipment or headsets, I had Astros. I think I spent $400. I got like the Mix Amp and then the A40s, and they're these heavy fucking headsets. So they kind of weigh down a lot, but they can kind of take a beating because the frame is metal. There is plastic on the sides of them, like where you can see over here on this. I can't actually show it because my mouse is in the way, but like right here on this like red one, there's a little plastic there. After 5 years, that little piece, it broke, and then the headset was just kind of loose. I was able to fix it myself. It was fine. But eventually the headset stopped working and I had to buy a new one. So I was just like, hey, you know, I spent $400 on a headset, but it lasted 5 years. That's me using it every day as a streamer. So, I mean, if you're going to talk like brand construction, taking care of something, $400 for 5 years, that sounds expensive, but when you break it down, that's not bad when you're a full-time creator. But even then, when I decided to buy this one, I was just like, well, you know, it's a $600, $700 headset. You know, can I really justify that? You know, that's insanely expensive. But when you sit there for 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day streaming, you might want some comfort, let alone quality. So I tried to buy these and I found them discounted. So they were a little cheaper than normal. And that's kind of how I justified spending a dumb amount of money on a headset. But really, that's probably like the best or kind of what anyone would really need. Anywhere between that like $200 to $300 range is going to be way more than you'll probably ever need for the average streamer, average gamer. You know, it's kind of like that top line without pushing further. And that's usually what Sennheisers do. Like, they're not meant for gaming. There's no microphone with them, so you need an external mic. But honestly, man, like you could probably spend, you know, $200 on a headset, 150, and most people would be fine. Absolutely fine. But what William said in the chat too, those Astros, if you play for 4 or 5 hours, they get really heavy. And that's what I noticed. Like, I was just like, fuck, my neck hurts. And that was the only problem. And that's why I switched to these, because they're so light. And I've never had any issues. But honestly, the average person, you're not buying a $600 headset, dude. And I wouldn't recommend you do it. I made a joke to him on Twitter about this shit. Basically, Nick sits really close to his camera, so you only see the top of his face. And I was like, man, you spent, you know, $1 million on your gaming setup and you still can't get a camera to cover your whole face. And his reply was the most on-brand reply I've ever seen. He replied back, he's like, why the fuck would I? And the tweet went kind of viral. It was just fucking hilarious. Like, it's just funny to see like him act that way, you know, true to himself in a sense. This is so cool. If you're sitting here, you have both dual stations, so you have them both back to back. People can kind of play and scrim together if they're playing whatever. Imagine having a LAN party. Like, hey, you guys want to come over and play games? My 30-year-old self would just be freaking the fuck out, you know, even as an adult now. He's got other cameras in the room so he can show the room, like while he's streaming, he can click a button and then show different parts of the camera. Good Lord, that's bigger. That's like twice the size of my room that I'm in right now. Maybe, probably even bigger. I love the ceiling. Just the lighting, like the two different tones. So you have like this underpath here, like that's the top of the waterfall in the bottom corner. And then you have the soundproofing above his setup, his PC's there, and then everything else is kind of tucked in the corner below it. But like the fact he has like the top lighting here and then the other part, it just really adds like a ton of depth to that room. It looks like a nightclub, honestly. All right, so let's actually talk about that comment. I think this is a good comment. Someone says sellout, in my opinion, but he's making that money. Dude, I don't know what to tell you. As a content creator, as somebody who's made like 20K, 10K a year, who's made over 6 figures a year streaming content creation, I would tell you selling out is such a bullshit statement in most cases. I think anybody who has put in the time and the effort that Nick or myself or any streamer that has actually tried to do it full time would tell you have no fucking clue what sellout realistically means. I would say that he's still true to his word. You know, he creates content, he provides entertainment, he's sponsored, he works with other companies, and I think that's just the success that you reach at a level. Like, are you not supposed to become successful? Are you not supposed to make money? Are you not supposed to do what you want to do and, you know, enjoy life in a way? Like, I think people focus on the money part a lot. I do as well. You know, I wouldn't be streaming if I couldn't make money and make it my job. And I've been very transparent about that. I think there's obviously like credibility on what you do and what you don't do. Like if I were to just like start marketing bullshit to you guys, then yeah, that's not selling out. Like, well, that would be selling out. Like if I just went with every sponsor and did every deal, didn't care about what it was, sure, that's selling out. But this isn't selling out. This is just fucking hard work and finally making it. But I would argue too, like at any point, you're gonna have to make deals and agreements to get to another level in some way. But you're not hurting anybody by taking a controller sponsorship. It's something that's a product you use. He's using a Respawn energy drink, which is something he probably uses. The NZXT PCs, NZXT, like those are all things and companies that he works with and he probably enjoys. Sure, they might pay him tons of money to do it and promote it, but honestly, like I still have the PC sitting next to me too, and I'm not even sponsored. I paid for it myself. I think there's a lot of jealousy when it comes out to the sellout comments, but I think, like, I'm not trying to roast you for it. I'm just trying to point out it's like, it's just such a weird comment to make in the sense of the scale of gaming and how hard it is to be successful as a creator. And I feel like it's just kind of a cop-out. It's like, oh, look at this fucking guy. He finally made it. He's worth millions. Fuck that guy. And it's like, goddamn, like, what do you want from people? You know, like, it's the same way you can argue, and I don't want to be like a political guy, but there's a good example where, and I hate doing this on stream because I'm going to mention a political party and someone's going to get mad, but like AOC, she was a bartender. She went to college. She worked kind of like that job as a bartender. And then she becomes a member of Congress. And then people are like, oh, what does she know? She's a fucking bartender. And it's like, isn't that what everyone wants to do for themselves or their kids? They want to see them go from one position, like a normal 9 to 5, and then move up into the world. Like, is that not what we all want? Isn't that like the ideal American dream? Going from starting out with nothing and then reaching that top part, like, is that not what you want? And I don't want to be like the political guy there, but that's a good example. Like, what's more honest than being a bartender? What's more honest than just playing video games for fun than potentially turning it into a multi-million-dollar brand or team or organization or channel? Like, the dude's got like 50K paid subs on Twitch. That's no easy feat. Like, and I think it's worth celebrating in some way. And it just seems crazy to me, right? Like, so bartending's nothing? No. I used to work at Walmart. I used to work at McDonald's. I had a paper route when I was 13. But it's like, once you get to a point, people just want to tear you down. They use those jobs to say that you're less than nothing. And the reality is that you're essential. Without those jobs, people wouldn't be able to survive. People wouldn't be able to have like the things that they want, and people don't appreciate them as much as they should. That's what I'm saying. Like, people take those people, the working class, for granted. That's what I'm getting at. But it's just like, bro, like, you can't talk shit on these guys. Like, what's so wrong with like having, like, succeeding? That's the argument. You know, I've worked for shitty jobs before, and it's just, we're always fortunate to have what you want, but as soon as you reach a point, you're selling out or you're doing something wrong. And I just think that mindset's toxic, like super toxic. That's what I'm saying, yeah. Like when I worked at McDonald's as like a 15-year-old kid, that was not an easy job. And I think people don't get that. They just look at those jobs and they try to talk down to you. That's what I'm getting at. And I think it's bullshit. Like I've worked harder at those jobs than I've worked at like corporate jobs. Oh no, I can't do this. I don't think I can do this. Who's that little guy? Holy shit. When was this filmed? This is at my parents' house. I lived in their basement. 2011. Oh God. I don't even want to watch it with audio. I'm terrified. I don't know.
Space Kross, and this is going to be an introduction to my setup video that I promised you when I hit 30k subs.
30k subs, boys. 30k. Look at that little face. Look at that baby face. 30k subs. Oh my God. Kross with a hairline. Yeah, dude. I've always had a bad one. You know, I blame my widow's peak on my parents. You know, gotta blame the creators there. You know, but it is what it is. We all can't be perfect. But good God, this is 11 years ago, 10 years ago. Oh my fuck, I don't even know. This is back. So I had 30k followers at the time. My channel now has like 400,000, but I quit uploading for like 4 years. The last 4 years. I recently started this year putting new videos out. And I'm still going to make some changes to my YouTube channel. But yeah, 30k followers back then. Holy shit, that's a trip down memory lane. But look at my setup here. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So I got, I think that's a Logitech keyboard, or I'm not sure what that is. That might not be a Logitech. I got a monitor here, speaker. This little black thing, you can barely see it. That is a blue snowball. My Xbox standing on this table, and I'm hoping you guys can see this. Let me zoom out. So this, if I can actually show, I'm gonna move my camera real quick. Boop. Oh, wrong one. Is it that one? Yeah. So I had these monitor speakers. These things are cool. I still had them. They were like $100, and they were awesome. They're probably at my parents' house. But this little glowy thing right here is called an HD PVR. That was how you recorded from your Xbox, which was over here at the time. And it worked on, you can see the front cables here. I think these are left and right audio maybe, but it worked on like, God, what was it? It's like red, green, blue component cables, I believe is what they were called. A mouse is plugged in here. And then I have an Xbox controller. You can barely see it where my mouse is by the 500 stars here. That's my old Xbox controller, just a regular controller at the time. I thought that was just funny to point out. And then I got this really ugly ass chair. I mean, I think I found it for like 20 bucks or used or something. I don't know where that one came from. But I had the dual monitor set up, the keyboard, these monitors. I don't remember where I got them. I think they were like $100 or $50 each at some point in time, maybe a little bit more than that. But I know one of them was used. Now this table, I actually built this table in woodshop, and that one I still own. It's at my house still, well, at my parents' house. Not at my house right now, but I just haven't moved it yet because I didn't want to break it. And then there's my PC. Got a couple games sitting there. I can't tell which one that is. The Astro headset, the Mix Amp.
You can kind of see the computer.
And then, did I?
Mix Amp is below it where the controller is, but I'll show you.
Yeah, I go through probably all of this. Holy shit. And then I'm big into photography. So I bought a camera. I have a TV in here. And then I had this desk with some stuff on it with a bunch of games, a couple headsets there. I think those are some old Triton things in there. What else do I show through here? I think I go through my, oh yeah, you can see the charger port for my, what are these called? Those are like the battery packs. And I think I show the monitor. I think I was like editing a video or something back then too. I think I talked about the Xbox, how it's connected, how the monitor is. Oh, there's Skype. Can't show the team chat. It's like, wait, is that a naked lady? No, don't do that. Phase Kross on the tag. What else did I show in here? I want to make sure it's all good to go. Oh, I think did I show the headset? Oh no, this is this plugs in so you can transfer the component from like HDMI to RCA. or whatever it was at the time, or component to HDMI. So I had to get a converter to get the signal to actually show up on the monitor, so you can see like red, green, and whatever. And otherwise, it wouldn't actually work. And yeah, what am I playing? Is this Modern Warfare 2? I'm level 80, phase Kross. Back in the day, they used to show how many players were online. Got some sword collections in the room too. Blue Snowball. What game is that? The greatest ninja of all time. I don't even know what that is. Oh, it's a ninja assassin movie. I think I had a friend left it over at my house. There's the there's the Astro Mix Amp. This thing actually broke, so I had tape on it, and it was pulling the cords together, so they would like set in that actual thing, and actually like make the audio sound work. And then obviously the PC, that thing's a monster PC. That was my first gaming PC I ever built and I ever paid for. Other than that, like this is not necessarily my first setup. It's like my first personal setup. I used to use like my family's computer to do stuff on, and then I was able to buy my own. Dude, look at the old YouTube layout. You can't see it, but like it would have like the followers right here, and then your videos would be uploaded. And then I think this is like people you subscribe to. I know it's really blurry, but then it would have videos like your sub box. It would show like what was recently uploaded. And I got photography equipment. I was really big into photography. I still have all that stuff. The camera was like a T3. It wasn't a T3i. It was something else at the time. But I knew people would ask about it. The lens, that was the most expensive lens I was ever able to buy at that time. It was like a $500 lens. It was like I got it used. There's like a photography forum, and people could sell like used equipment, and I was like, fuck yeah. And I was able to get that telephoto lens. It was a big deal. Oh my god, let's take a look here. Subscriptions, Kross, there's the old page. MW3. Facebook is on there. That's kind of funny actually. What else got uploaded on that? What really something? I don't really see anything. 31,000 or something. I don't know if that's mine or someone else's, but that's my old phase logo when I first joined. And I got some clips in here. Like recording. Oh, I think I show my monitor. It's fucking cold. It's 10 degrees out. Yeah, but that's pretty much my old setup, dude. Oh my god. Times have changed.